Chapter 5. After a short walk through the desert, Skylar and I arrived at an old cabin. It didn't look very inviting. There was mold growing from between the wooden walls, and it looked damp and splintery. Though, frankly, I wasn't as shocked by the condition of the cabin as I was by the fact that there was a cabin here in the first place. I was just beginning to wrap my head around being on an alien planet and being 10 years older. I hadn't even imagined that there could be housing here too. Though, I suppose the whole planet couldn't just be deserts and forests. Maybe there could even be a city around somewhere. "Is this your cabin?" I asked Skylar.
"Yes and no. I found it abandoned on my travels. I've just been crashing here."
He walked toward the cabin door.
"Come on."
I followed him in. There was only one room inside, but it served the purpose of 3. There were a couple of small beds in the far corner, a little kitchen off to the side, and in the center, a large living room of sorts, though it didn't have any furniture. In the living room area were 2 people sitting on the floor. One looked about 4 feet tall and had a single eye in the center of his face and a single antenna on the crown of his head. The other one looked to be my height, but she had a hairless tail and thin tentacles coming out of her head. They almost resembled hair.
"Trish, Waxton, this is Charles."
Skylar introduced me to the others.
"Charles, this is Trish."
He pointed to the tentacle-haired one.
"And this is Waxton."
He pointed to the one-eyed one. Hi," I said.
"They'll bring more?"
said Waxton, ignoring me and directing his attention to Skylar.
"We talk about this. We can't have a resistance with only 3 people,"
Skylar explained.
"Can, if try. More, bad. Not know enough. Easy danger."
"I'm sorry," I interrupted. "This is a resistance?" They all looked at me.
"Yes, it is,"
Skylar answered, smiling. "What are you resisting?"
"The one who brought us to this planet."
"You mean the voice?"
"I do. That voice said we are all here to help gather data for an experiment. It said 2 people were selected from each of the 50 eligible planets."
I nodded. "Okay, yeah. That voice is experimenting on us. I can see why you'd want to resist."
"Not only that, I think that voice wasn't being entirely truthful. Think about it. It said 50 eligible planets. Eligible for what? What makes a planet eligible? I've been noticing some strange things here. Firstly, everyone partaking in the experiment that I've encountered so far is humanoid. The planet adjacent to mine is dominated by Nex, but they have a feline form. Were they not eligible to be here because of that? Also, it seems that there is a fairly equal number of males and females here. I've encountered no other variations in sex. Does that mean the 2 people selected from each planet were 1 male and 1 female? Why? Sexual diversity? Reproductive purposes? Only not that,"
Waxton cut in.
"All speak same tongue."
"Yes," Skylar continued.
"Though our grammatical practices are still different, suggesting that we're all actually speaking different languages, and our speech is being universally translated somehow."
"I guess that's possible," I agreed. "But what's your point? The voice said that this was a test of our adaptability to collect data for an experiment. What makes you think that's not the truth?"
"I believe that's the truth, but not the whole truth. If it's just our adaptability being tested, why are the test subjects exclusively humanoid? Why is it essential that we all are able to communicate with each other? And this person who's conducting the experiment, how did they create this planet in the first place? I've never seen anyone who could pull that off. I just get the feeling that the data being collected for this experiment is being used for a very specific purpose, and I'm not so certain I believe that purpose is an innocent one."
Skylar was interrupted by a faint laughter that gradually got louder. It was coming from Trish, who had elected to remain silent until now. "I think that you are taking all of this too seriously," she said. "The voice said that this is a game, That is how we should think of it. I think that was just a comparison, I said. This isn't an actual game. If you think that this is real, then you are a fool. No one can create a planet like this. No one can invade 50 planets in secret and abduct 2 people from each of them. It is madness. This is just a game. Now that Trish was speaking, I had more incentive to look in her direction. I'm not usually one to look people in the eye, but all it took was a small glance for me to realize that Trish's eyes were red. The blood-red eyes of a killer. The voice's words echoed in my mind. I stepped back a bit. You're a murderer. I am not, she shouted. I am a savior. I help people escape this game in the fastest possible way. Losing. But losing means dying. You're killing people. I am not killing anyone. They are not dying. These are all lies. How do you know that? I have already told you. This is a game. She crossed her arms. We are all in a simulation, and when we die, we will be back home. People scribe stories about this sort of thing on my planet. They tell the tales of contestants brought to a virtual world to compete in a game of survival. That is what this is. That made sense. I've read those kinds of stories too. But her reasoning was still off. If that's what you believe, why are you part of a resistance? It is safer in a group. This is a very dangerous place. But you said this was just a game. What do you care if you die? I do not want to die painfully. I save others by killing them quickly. They will not feel a thing, and they will return home safely. She paused for a bit. I would also like to know who abducted us. I have been here for a week already, and I miss my child. A week? I blurted. I only just woke up. I can't have been unconscious here for a week. We all woke up at different times, Skylar explained. Waxton here has been on the planet for a month. The running theory is that it takes different amounts of time for each of us to become accustomed to the conditions of this planet, and only after we have do we wake up. This is a foreign planet for all of us, different air, different gravity. Yet we're all accustomed to it, like we've been here for years. Have, commented Waxton. We here 10 years. The 10-year thing happened to you too? I said. Did you find a golden ring before you got here? They all shook their heads. I had a questionable meal, said Trish. Me? Find out bug, said Waxton. I just had a strange dream, said Skylar. My heart was pounding again. This was real. This was all real. It wasn't just me. There were other people here, aliens. This was happening to them too. So Charles, Skylar brushed back his stringy white hair. If you're interested, we'd love to have you join us. Join you? I questioned. Yeah. Just to be clear, we don't kill people. That's Trish's opinion. She doesn't speak for the group. Trish rolled her red eyes. We're interested in finding out who brought us here and what they want with us. We could use someone like you. Someone who's smart and able to think on their toes. I thought about it. Being in a group might not be so bad. We could all watch each other's backs. I'd be safer. But Trish's red eyes reminded me that I might not be safe at all. She hasn't killed Skylar and Waxton, though. But she could still try to kill me. I don't know, I admitted. How about you shadow us tomorrow? Skylar suggested. You can get a feel for the resistance. Then you can make your decision afterward. No pressure. If you want to walk away, you can walk away. I just thought we could all help each other out. Admittedly, it didn't sound so bad, but I hardly knew these people. I didn't think this was a decision I could make analytically. I had to use my gut. I have to act holistic, like Ruby always says. Okay, I said. I'll stay and decide tomorrow. Skylar smiled, but I couldn't tell if that meant something good or something bad. I no like, Waxton said. This bad idea. Skylar looked at me, then at Trish, and then at Waxton. We'll see. I've got a good feeling about this.